Free agency is almost upon us, and for me personally, this is my favorite time of the year because every year something interesting happens that changes the future of the league. So today, we're talking about 3 realistic free agent scenarios that could reshape the NBA landscape for the coming years. What's up guys, welcome to MDJ, my name is Mark, and I'm first going to re-emphasize that we're only talking about realistic scenarios. So obviously if Durant left for Cleveland, that would reshape the NBA, but obviously A, Durant is not going to leave, and B, the Cavs don't actually have any cap space to sign him. So with that being said, let's bring in the first scenario, Chris Paul to the Spurs. This should be expected. People have been talking about CP3 to the Spurs all season long, and a while back I made a video talking about this particular scenario. If you want to check it out, I'll leave it down in the description below. And the bottom line is, look, CP3 has yet to make a conference finals in his career, and the Spurs have been to 10 in the past 20 years. Pairing up the smartest point guard in the league with the smartest coach in the league would be absolutely incredible. Now for the Spurs, you could make a legitimate argument that if Kawhi didn't get injured in the Western Conference Finals, they would have put up a good fight against the Warriors or maybe even beaten them. Now, if you add what is still one of the best point guards in the league to that mix, it would instantly make the Spurs comparable to the Warriors or even better than the Warriors. The biggest obstacle to this happening is money. So Chris Paul is expected to receive a 5-year, $205 million contract from the Clippers. And the Spurs don't have much cap room. Even if they are willing to dump LaMarcus Aldridge's salary, and assuming that they want to at least keep a decent supporting cast, they could at best offer Chris Paul maybe $25 to $28 million per year. So more or less a 4 years, $100 million contract. So if you look at this from another angle, this kind of comes down to whether or not Chris Paul thinks contending for a championship is worth $100 million to him. Obviously, that's not a question me nor anyone else can answer for Chris Paul, but if he decides it's worth it, look out Golden State. Number 2 is Gordon Hayward to the Celtics. This is another scenario that people have been talking about a lot. I mean, just look at the comment section of Gordon Hayward's Instagram. The poor guy can't put up an innocent picture of his baby without Celtics fans commenting green emojis all over the place. Oh my god. Anyways, back to the main topic. The Celtics surprised some people when they became the first seed last year, but in the Eastern Conference Finals, it was clear that they were still overmatched. Now, luckily, the Celtics' core 7 players are all under contract, and they would at most have to let Kelly Olynyk go to clear enough cap space for Hayward. The biggest question is still this: is Hayward on the Celtics enough to beat the Cavs? And I'm going to try to make the argument that it would make them competitive enough to at least challenge LeBron, and here's why. First off, Isaiah Thomas was obviously not 100% in those first 2 games against the Cavs in the Eastern Conference Finals, and when he was healthy, he was awesome in the playoffs. A big problem for the Celtics last season was that when Isaiah sat on the bench, they basically had no offensive production. With Hayward, you no longer have that problem, as he's proven he can create offense for himself. If you then factor in the high possibility that either Terry Rozier or Jaylen Brown will make a leap next year, or maybe that Jason Tatum is able to contribute immediately off the bench, compare that to the fact that the Cavs don't have that young talent that could match that leap the young Celtics could make, I'd be hesitant to give the Cavs the thumbs up in this matchup. And at this point, LeBron not making the finals would be quite the switch up for the NBA. Finally, the last scenario, Blake Griffin and JJ Redick to the Thunder. Because we're trying to talk about realistic scenarios in this video, there's some factors that have to go right for the Thunder for this to work. Number 1, they would probably have to find a team willing to take Enes Kanter's $17 million per year contract, assuming Blake gets the near max and Redick wants more than just the veteran's minimum. So first, how would Blake Griffin really help the Thunder? Well, it basically comes down to Blake being the best available free agent the Thunder can sign. The Thunder in this offseason should have one and only one goal, and that's #GetRussHelp2K17. Now, I've been critical of Westbrook in the past. I think with the way he was playing and running the team, the Thunder were doomed from the start, and they had absolutely zero chance of having any playoff success. And the reason why is pretty simple. His usage rate was way too high. For those unfamiliar with the term, usage rate basically measures how often the player has the ball and how much he's responsible for the team's offense. When Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant posted their highest usage rates of their career, they were nowhere close to winning the championship. The fact that Westbrook's usage rate was higher than the career highs of Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant shows you that this was never going to work, this Russell Westbrook does everything experiment. Now, the part where I am sympathetic to Westbrook is that he didn't have a great second option. Of course, if Blake Griffin can't play more than 50 or 60 games per season and he can't get 100% healthy during the playoffs, which has been the case for the past 3 years, he's not going to make a difference anywhere he goes. But when Blake Griffin is healthy, he is still a top 20 player in the league, and more importantly, a great shot creator that exploits mismatches and can handle the ball as well. An offensive weapon Westbrook desperately needs, a guy that can be much more effective in the pick and roll than Domantas Sabonis or even Steven Adams. So where does JJ Redick then come in? Well, plain and simple, the Thunder also need shooters. Westbrook's biggest strength offensively, in my mind, is still his ability to just get to the rim. And the reason why he struggled efficiency-wise at the rim, especially against the Rockets in the playoffs, is that teams were basically just stacking multiple defenders in the paint against them because they weren't worried about Andre Roberson shooting threes, nor were they particularly concerned about Oladipo, who's proven to be an extremely streaky shooter, or even Alex Abrines, who was the Thunder's best shooter in the regular season but ended up going 5 of 17 in the Rockets series. JJ Redick, on the other hand, has been one of the most consistent spot-up shooters in the league during these past couple years. A player that not only teams can't ignore, a player that they have to purposely stick defenders closely to, which opens up more space for Russ and potentially Blake as well. Now, realistically, even with Blake Griffin healthy and even with JJ Redick, I don't think OKC can match up with Golden State's talent. But that would probably propel them into the top 4, make them possibly the 3rd best or maybe even 2nd best team in the West, which might lead to a Russ versus KD playoff series, something I'm sure we'd all love to see. KD would probably wear this at the entire series, and Russ would probably wear this for the entire series. Anyways, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you did like it, leave a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, leave a thumbs up. Now, I try to limit one scenario per free agent, so obviously, look, if CP3 goes to the Pelicans or the Rockets, that'd be a pretty crazy scenario as well. But again, we're talking realistic. Go ahead, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. These next 2 weeks, we're going to be breaking down the trades, breaking down the big free agency moves. So make sure you also hit the notification bell so you get the video right when it comes out. Thanks for watching. My name is Mark, aka MDJ. I'll see you next time.
Feeling kinda strange, feeling kinda off. Don't know what's really going on. I feel like something's up and I can only guess the cause. It doesn't matter when, doesn't matter where. Always hits me when I'm unprepared.